I'm not saying that I support hate, but people have a right.
So if a white
say
man walked up to you and said, "Hey, get out the way," you support that?
I support his right to say it, and he can deal with the consequences.
And you don't feel no way about it. You're just gonna go on about it.
What other consequences? You said he can deal with the consequences. But Zuby, for you, what were the consequences?
I'm not going to call the police on him.
Kanye West's recent tweets have ignited a debate on free speech across the internet, and Piers Morgan doesn't quite seem to understand what free speech is. So Myron Gaines and Zuby try to educate him. Let's get into it.
Here's what I'm trying to say. F your feelings, dude. Nobody cares. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. I don't care how you feel. You need to allow people to say what they want to say. If you don't like it, that's fine.
Okay.
But
here's the problem. Hang on. Here's the problem I have with this. Is that Zuby has very clearly drawn a line, right? Zuby, I know from interview. Hang on. Zuby has always passionately defended free speech, as indeed have I. But like me, he draws a clear line when people are inciting violence. There is no doubt that is what Kanye West was doing. And the only member of the panel who has not denounced that is you, Myron. And I'm baffled why you can't draw a line that is drawn by your own First Amendment.
Again, because I have the common sense to realize that he's not talking about really beating women. It's a joke. He's been making tweets trolling the whole day.
Brother, how do you know it's a joke?
It was obviously a joke. Also, free speech includes hate speech. It does. Sorry, not sorry.
How do you know it's a joke?
It's very obvious a joke.
Can I finish my point?
Have you asked him?
Can I finish my point?
Have you asked him if it's a joke?
Let me finish my point. First of all, brother, listen. Brother, listen. You said, right, that it can be dark humor. You said it's common sense. Everybody don't have common sense. Kanye has fans that will do and follow whatever he does, right? I've seen his career go from the beginning up to now. I've seen people being influenced by him. I've seen people dress like him. I've seen people talk like him. So if he's influencing these hatred things, talking about he's Yadolf Hitler and influencing his audience to hate
Brazilians,
influencing his audience to disrespect women, to influence young black men to have their women walk around naked. He has that influence, brother. So when you say, oh, it's just common sense, it's just dark humor, you're saying that because you lived a little to learn to know. The youth, the young black men, they don't know. Like they thought in hip hop, dudes was really killing and shooting and stuff, and they thought that these people were real gangsters. That birthed the drill music. Because when they found out this guy was a wankster, he wasn't real, they had to go and shoot and kill first, then go to the studio.
I'm not saying I agree with everything Kanye West says. People know Kanye's a little wild. People know he's a bit of a troll. I just don't buy the argument that Kanye's inciting violence.
So it has influence, brother. Yeah. And you breaking my heart because I watch you sometimes, and I didn't know that you would be, you're not ignorant, but what you're saying is pure ignorance right now. Everybody know my Instagram is real choke, no joke, right? I get censored for just telling the truth, being a strong heterosexual man, and I'm censored. With Kanye,
is he a strong heterosexual man?
Doing is not freedom of speech, it's hate. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a very interesting.
Whoa, I people that watch football. That's just my opinion. I'm allowed to say that. Maybe that's hateful. I'm allowed to say that. It's not illegal. This is America.
Point, because a lot of people get suspended for far less than what Kanye said. Zuby, again, I want to bring you back in here. Some people say, look, the best sunlight, and the sunlight can sometimes be the best disinfectant. In other words, you let someone like Kanye spew his vile garbage, and actually the court of public opinion sees him for what he is, and that settles the matter. I got to say, I'm more with Choke No Joke, that of the 32 million people that follow Kanye on X until he disconnected himself, you just don't know how many might have an impression from him that they then want to follow. You just don't know, because they're not all smart people. A lot of people might be easily led down a horrible line of anti-Semitism or whatever it may be because their hero Kanye has said this. What do you feel about the sunlight disinfectant argument?
Yeah, look, I like to know who people are. It's part of why I like freedom of speech. You know, right here, we've got a lot of passionate people on this panel right here. There's people out there in the world who like some of us and who don't like some of us, right? I think every single person on this panel has said things in the past that people would have liked to cancel them for, ban them for, censor them for, and so on. So personally, when it comes to the concept of hate, people are allowed to be haters. People can be hateful. And I support free speech when it comes to people being hateful. I'm like, cool. Like, it doesn't mean I like what they're saying, but they have a right to say it if someone wants.
Exactly. It's kind of simple. Just let everybody say what they want to say, and eventually the truth rises to the top. That's the idea with free speech. Piers is British. Maybe that's why he doesn't understand it. I don't know.
Wants to be nasty about white people, nasty about black people, nasty about
Brazilian
people, nasty about whoever, Arabs, any ethnicity or race. I don't support that. I don't think it's good. But if you're calling, as I said before, if you're calling for violence, or if you're, really, that's my line. That's my line. If you're saying like these people should be hurt or this individual should be hurt, I'm not saying that I support hate, but people have a right.
So if a white man
hateful.
walked up to you and said, "Hey, get out the way," you support that?
I support his right to say it, and he can deal with the consequences.
And you don't feel no way about it. You're just going to go.
I'm not going to.
What other consequences? You said he can deal with the consequences. But Zuby, for you, what would the consequences be?
I'm not going to call the police on him.
Okay.
It could get physical.
Piers.
In the same way, if someone goes up to someone and insults someone's mother.
One of the most.
Wait a second, Rabbi Shmuley. Wait a second, Rabbi. Everyone, wait. I'm interested in Zuby's response to that. If somebody came up and abused you like that, what you're saying, I think, is that you would deal with it how you want to deal with it.
Exactly. Look, there are all sorts of things. Look, we're all grown men here. We all know that if you go up to a man and you just start insulting him, insulting his sister, insulting his family, calling him names or whatever, we all know that could result in physical violence. It doesn't mean that you're going to run away and you're going to call the police and say that, he was being hateful and so on. And people insult each other all the time, online, offline. There's all sorts of nastiness that exists in.
Yeah, good point. Can we let people be hateful and work it out amongst each other? Why do we need to get the police involved? In Britain, you can get arrested for a mean tweet. The police show up at your house. Ridiculous.
In the world, and I'm not trying to police it all. When it comes to the concept of freedom of speech, as I said, to me, the line is not hatred. Hatred is extraordinarily subjective. And even when it's clear.
Another good point. Hatred is subjective. Maybe somebody has no hate in their heart. They're just being honest, and other people think it's hateful. This happens to me all the time. People think I'm a hater. I actually love everybody.
It's clear. People have a right to be hateful. But if people are going to make threats against individuals, or you're going to call on an audience and tell them, hey, get that person, do this thing to that person, go hurt that person, then to me, that is absolutely crossing a line. And that's even why in the First Amendment in the USA, which is the strongest protection of freedom of speech, they recognize incitement to violence.
Yes, they do.
To me, the concept of hate and incitement to violence, those are two different categories. On principle.
Good point. Incitement to violence and hate, two different things. Again, someone being hateful, subjective, like that's just your opinion, man.
I don't support the former, but I support people's right to say those things, and the latter, I think that's where it crosses the line.
If you're like me, the free speech debate is pretty basic. In America, we have the First Amendment, and people are allowed to be haters. I would have been arrested years ago if I lived in England, to be honest. Leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. This has been episode 2 of the Hayden Patrick McDougal Show. I'm going to start covering debates and other things I find interesting. Going to start putting out this show more consistently, so stay tuned. If you like content like this, please subscribe to the channel and leave a comment on the video. I love you.